So to start off, this is Brilliant for Educators for MathCounts. My name is Nate. My colleague Hannah is with me as well. She'll be answering any and all questions that you have in the chat, so feel free to put those questions there. And then at the end, there'll be a Q&A time to answer any outstanding questions. So our agenda for today is to go over Brilliant, the educator platform, give you an insight about how teachers use Brilliant in some popular courses. I'll go through like all of the steps to get started, how to add your students, and then troubleshooting any particular problems. This is not the only time you have access to us. If you ever need any help, reach out to us at educators@brilliant.org. I also will send a recording of this meeting that you can watch later. So what is Brilliant? Our mission is to make a world of great problem solvers. And we are primarily a learning platform used by adult learners and people outside of school to learn STEM courses. We have over 10 million users. It's mostly powered by like individual subscriptions. If you're on YouTube, you've seen our ads. If you're not on YouTube, you may not have seen our ads. We are really focused on making learning interactive, fun, approachable. And Brilliant for Educators was a program created in 2020 to give this away to schools for free. And so we've had about 50,000 K-12 teachers and over 200,000 students worldwide use Brilliant in that time. And we pride ourselves that we provide new perspectives that are not always going to be found in your core curriculum. We are a supplemental resource. We're extra. We're trying to be super helpful and useful to really get students to understand deep, important conceptual problems. And then with MathCounts in particular, it's a really nice partnership because we're able to support the prepping for the test. If you have not already, I highly recommend that you apply for an account. You go to educator.brilliant.org. Please choose Apply for Access Teacher, and then just say that you heard about us through MathCounts. To be super clear about this is a free program for all educators. Please share us with other teachers that you know. If you are a parent volunteer, the only way you can get access is because of your MathCounts affiliation. So while we're able to give it free for all teachers, the coaches, it's because of our partnership with MathCounts. So it's very important that you mentioned that you heard about us through MathCounts. We're going to dive into the content, kind of talk about what Brilliant is, what it's like if you haven't seen it before, and go through some courses recommended for MathCounts in particular. And I would like just to say at this point that if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Anna is monitoring to them and is more than ready to respond. So we have a course catalog of about 50 plus courses, thousands of lessons for students to work on. And new content's coming out all the time. We actually launched a new chapter of coordinate geometry like earlier today, so truly all the time. Some courses that I want to highlight for you is solving equations, thinking in code, exploring data visually, scientific thinking, contest math. These are all going to be really fun courses for middle school students and not just math courses. So Brilliant is all about active learning. There's no videos, there's no lectures. There's some reading when it's important, but we drop you into a problem very quickly. And then you're going to get a chance to explore an interactive, play with something, get it right or wrong. It's okay. Brilliant. There's no grading. There's no red X's. Instead, we're going to give you the feedback and then another attempt at the problem. So you're really going to build up that conceptual understanding. I really do recommend you take some time to play with Brilliant yourself. It's important to see what it's like to be a learner. You do get a free Brilliant.org account as well, so it's completely free access for you. Brilliant can be challenging at times. I'd like to name that because learners are expected to really think and think critically. This is going to be really great for your students that like want to figure things out. You'll find them just really, really take to Brilliant. We have done a really good job this year, in my opinion, though, of scaffolding our lessons a lot more. So that's probably maybe a little bit less true than has been in the past. So if you are coming back to us from before, you might notice that in our lessons now, it's a little bit more guided. So here's some popular pathways. So pathways are basically like guided, like start here, end here for the students. If you want to use Brilliant very passively, you just simply share the access, you tell your students to go on it, and they'll work their way through these pathways. So the core ones to know about, foundations for algebra. This is going to be like our 5th through 6th, 7th grade content. And it really is focused on like y equals kx eventually. And the visual algebra course in particular is a super unique approach to showing linear and even quadratic equations towards the end, but in a way that I think your students will be able to follow. It's super cool. And I haven't really seen anything else quite like it. So I do recommend checking out that visual algebra course. The main pathway that you're probably going to be working with your students this year is our algebra pathway. It starts with solving equations. And then coordinate geometry are going to be the two big ones for you. I know that you're like two courses, that's not a lot. Each course has like hundreds of lessons in it at this point. So they are going to take quite a while to work their way through. Each lesson's like 5-ish minutes, but there are a ton of lessons in that solving equations and that coordinate geometry. And the cool thing is for your kids that are getting it and loving it and want to go further, have them go through quadratics, have them start the functions. That's going to be like ninth grade, 10th grade level work. If they want to skip ahead to the exponential functions, that's a cool course too. We are expanding our algebra pathway a ton this school year. So I do expect there to be additional courses kind of filling in some of these steps, probably launching February, March. But still, there's a ton of content today. Something just to name is programming and our computer science content. I know that's a little less relevant for math instruction, but it's there. Your students are more than welcome to use any and all of our courses. If they're new to coding, starting with Thinking in Code, if they are somebody who's already used coding before, the third course, the program with Python, is one that I recommend for them. And it's a good just to have them jump in, try it, see if it's about the right level, and then they can always move ahead or back. This course pathway is super just pure fun, interesting, conceptual. It focuses on logic is kind of like brain teasers puzzles. And then truth and lies and reasoning with logic is more like formal logic, understanding like and or and semantics. And digital circuits is kind of like pushed in there because it's like formalized logic for computers. However, that course is super fun and cool and interesting. Highly recommend this whole path. This is kind of our like enrichment math class pathway. And then mind-bending math is basically all these cool, interesting courses that you really wouldn't see in your general curriculum. Really good for post-test math counts. If you're doing your club any longer, infinity number theory, cool to get into. Number theory does have some relevance for the math counts competition, but the big one, and I'll talk about this more later, and why I made sure this pathway was mentioned, is that contest math course. That course is the most aligned to math counts. If you only use one course, that's probably the course you're going to want to use for your students. So how do teachers use Brilliant? And for my coaches that are not teachers, you're probably going to use it in similar ways, but maybe not exactly. But I do know we have a good number of teachers, so I want to make sure I cover this. So the number one way teachers use math counts or use Brilliant is as a self-directed learning tool. I mean, this is going to be the simplest way to get started. You just simply share it with your students. They get full access. They can go check out any course that they want. And I get the feedback every year that there are students that I share it with that I expect will love it, and they do. And there are students that I share it with that I did not expect them to love it, and they also do. And you have students that don't do their math homework that come to Brilliant, it clicks with them, and then they're like, up on their phone like too late at night doing Brilliant. I know that you're like, Nate's probably paid to say that. I'm telling you, that's not something I'm paid to say. It is a true thing that someone told me. So I really recommend you just share it with all of your students, give them that free access. Please don't gatekeep it. But I was a middle school math teacher. I'm very aware that's probably not all of your students, it's a subset of them. Really great for anyone with their like internally motivated student. The next way teachers use it, and this kind of the hierarchy from like, hardest to implement to easiest, would be as like an enrichment day activity, the day before Thanksgiving, winter break, those type of days. Or if you have like a test and you have like 10 kids that finish, pretty quickly, Brilliant's a great like cognitively engaging task that is not going to be something that they like rush through their test in order to do, but still be something they enjoy doing once the test is over. And those are the courses that I really recommend are like the logic, the truth and lies, or letting your math students do some programming. The number one way teachers really integrate us into instruction. Sorry, see. Oh, okay. The number one way that teachers integrate us into instruction is as a warm-up activity in one of our two ways. So we have these puzzles courses. Those are single questions, super quick. But a lot of our content now, as you'll see, is like 4 to 5 minutes. It's honestly perfect for a warm-up. Teachers have told me that like the best use of Brilliant as a warm-up activity is on any topic that you're giving 2 days to. So it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm going to cover ratio, like I'm going to or okay, let's be more specific. I'm going to cover unit rates. I'm going to start with a Brilliant lesson day one, but the second day of unit rate, doing the Brilliant unit rate lesson is excellent because it gives a slightly different way to see that concept. It's quick, it's interactive and engaging, and it might like help the concept click for a couple kids. So I really recommend it as warm-ups or even part of the core instruction if you have the ability to do so. And that's the final way, to introduce or review concepts. Like this is definitely going to be the most challenging. I'm not going to lie. You have to find a good lesson. You got to make sure it's right for your students. You got to have a sense of it. At the end of the day, though, the lessons are pretty short now, 5 to 10 minutes. We have a tool on the educator portal, which I'll show you later, that allows you to like search for any particular standard or topic. And while it is a pretty time-consuming way to use Brilliant in your classroom setting, it's definitely going to be the most rewarding, right? It's tied to your actual instructional aims. You're going to see your students really connect with the curriculum and the concepts. It's definitely the best way to use it if you have the time, which I know is hard to have. And then for math counts in particular, I just want to talk about this Contest Math 1 course. So this course was originally made, I want to say like 2019, and in full transparency, it has not been updated since. So it does not have the same level of interactivity that a lot of our content has. And so if you only look at this course, you're going to get a false impression of what Brilliant is. But why this course is so great for math counts is because at the time we were super dedicated to building out just a ton of content that really was a rigorous, like step by step go through of like the entire world of contest math. And so there are just a ton of practice quizzes, diagnostic tests, lessons where we give like just question after question with explanations. And it's just a huge bank of prep material. Really recommend it as you're getting ready, gearing up for the actual math counts exam. Okay, I'm going to pause. I was told 7 seconds of wait time. So I'm going to give people just a chance. If you have any questions, please put it into the chat now. Okay, so for my teachers, the easiest thing to do is go to educator.brilliant.org, log in, and then if you have Google Classroom, sync with Google Classroom. It is going to be pretty seamless. Your students will get access to Brilliant through whatever email address they use to sign into Google with your school. You're going to be good to go. If you are not a teacher or you're a teacher who does not use Google Classroom, which I know is probably the majority, we have this roster link feature that is going to allow you to create a custom link for each one of your classrooms. You can create an unlimited number of classrooms on Brilliant. So for most teachers, that's just like period 1, period 2, period 3. You could also just put all of your kids in one class. It's up to you, whatever's easiest for you to manage. You could have kids be in multiple classrooms. So like, let's say you have period 1 plus your math count kids, there's no problem having the link twice. It's really up to you. Once they click that link, they're going to be asked to sign in or sign up. If they sign up, they should be good to go. If they sign in, because they already had a Brilliant account, it should all work. The only caveat is Brilliant has a cool little feature called leagues, which is kind of like a ranked competition for how much content you can do. There's been a few students that had Brilliant previously. Once they are a Brilliant educator aligned student, unfortunately, they lose that leagues feature because it's not safe for giving out names of students. So for privacy reasons, we don't allow that feature. So all that to say, if you do have a student who's already using Brilliant, let them know that, hey, you might lose your leagues. Maybe you want to use a different account for this if that's the case. But for school settings, it doesn't really matter. So this is what the classroom looks like. You're going to be able to add new classes, track their progress, sync from Google Classroom if you regret not doing that before, create that class link. Very important. You can also view lessons as a student. I highly recommend you click that link pretty early because that will allow you to set up your own student account. I'll talk more about that later. And this is all on educator.brilliant.org. So when you create your own student account, it's really important to do because by default, you have the educator account at educator.brilliant.org with the educator access, but we want you also to have the brilliant.org account. The brilliant.org account is where all the lessons and courses actually are. It lets you actually see the content. You got to do this once, like one time. You need to link the two together, and then you will have your brilliant.org account associated with your educator account. You'll be able to log in there directly. It'll all be free for you. You might ask, why do we do it this way? This doesn't seem ideal. You're right. But it was how we're able to quickly build out the educator platform and keep this all free for K-12 teachers. So I hope you indulge us in that less than ideal design decision. So to be super clear, because this is something that is confusing, 2 accounts, your educator account, that's where the classroom is. You can monitor your students. You can view you can see our curriculum. The brilliant.org account, though, is where students see and what you will see as a student. And that's where all the learning happens. And that's where all the lessons actually are. Okay, so for our educator account, so as an educator, we give you the ability to see our curriculum in like a different way. So it's no longer those pathways that the students are seeing that's really, really guided and high level. Instead, you're able to see search for any lesson based on topic or Common Core standard and see the grade level that is suggested for them. This is all in the Lessons tab. You can preview the content as a student, either the course or the lesson, and you can share those with your students either via a link on the course or lesson level or with Google Classroom if you use that. Totally optional, like you don't have to use this feature. Just sharing Brilliant with your students is enough to give them the access. This is, I want to direct them to particular content. For teachers, you almost definitely will use this feature, right? You're going to want to share them, hey, I want you to go to this particular lesson or this particular course. For my coaches, you might not. If it's a small group of kids, it might be easier just to have them log into brilliant.org and just verbally say, hey, click on this course, go to this lesson. So both ways work. For student progress monitoring, you'll be able to see all of the lessons your students complete once they've joined your class. So it is important for them to join the class. Our whole like ethos at Brilliant is that it's okay to make mistakes. And so we're not doing at the same level of like grading as a lot of other platforms. Like we said, we're a complimentary service. So we assume you have your IXLs or your Khan Academies or even just your tests that give the feedback as far as how my students are doing. But we will share with you which lessons they've completed and how long they've spent. We are adding in we have added in to our lessons a practice component. There are 3 questions at the end of every lesson where we are expecting students to get it correct. I think we'll probably do a pretty big revision of this kind of soon where we'll give you the information as far as how they're doing those practice, but that's coming in the future and not yet. So as of today, just think of Brilliant progress monitoring of being able to answer the question, what have my students done? And have they put forth the effort based on the time spent? That I know they're getting something out of it. And then honestly, the best way to know if your students are learning on Brilliant will be talking to your students. They will tell you, yes, I really enjoyed learning on Brilliant. Yeah, so if you have any questions, you can always email us at educators@brilliant.org. I know that was a lot of information. Like I said, I've recorded this. I will share it out later. And I know that there's always a lot of questions. So feel free at this point, if you are busy, which I'm sure a lot of us are, feel free to go. If not, stick around, unmute, ask questions, or type in the chat.
Hi, Nathan. This is Garrett, Nathaniel. Just looking for the math counts. Like I just logged in, created my account for the first time as a student. Where are the courses that I recommend for my students?
Great. So are you in your educator account or your Brilliant.org account?
Brilliant.org.
Okay, cool. So I'll show you. So Brilliant.org for math counts in particular, that contest math course is at the very bottom, mind bending math, and you actually even need to scroll over. So that's a good call out. And there it is. Can everyone see my screen where I'm on contest math? And can you confirm that I'm showing them
Yep.
contest math?
Oh, no, wait. I'm just looking at it just looks like the course list.
You can't see let me annotate. Can you see my mouse now?
Yeah, we can see
Oh,
your
yes, I can.
on the contest math. Yeah.
Great. So that's going to be the one that I recommend is like everybody should definitely let your math count students do before practice, before the test. And then the normal place to start besides that would be the solving equations or coordinate geometry for most math counts classrooms. That said, like, some are advanced and going for more, feel free to push forward to quadratics and functions. And then these other pathways are the ones that I spoke about before. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm just making sure I'm writing down the right ones. It looks like they're in different sections. The first ones, though, what you said is the mind-bending math under the contest math, and then the other ones that you would recommend it starting were in different sections.
Yeah, I would say the algebra pathway is going to be your next best pathway to kind of work through.
Great, thank you.
And just to show the lesson view, this does give you the grade levels. So if you just, math counts kind of 6th, 7th, 8th grade usually, gives you a sense of the number of lessons we have in each of these courses that are relevant for them. Any other questions? Thank you for that. Oh, I see questions in the chat.
I have a question on how to link the other account. So I'm in the Educator Brilliant. So do I go to that View Brilliant as a student?
Yes, if you click that button, that will allow you to set up your teacher account, your student account.
Okay.
Or are you asking about how to add?
But is it, because you said there were going to be 2 things that are linked, like a brilliant.org and the Educator.
Yeah.
Where do I guess mine says brilliant.org. Oh, I'm in the student one now, though.
Yeah, it just jumps back and forth between the two when you click that. So You can see here it says educator.brilliant.org. That's going to be my everything I do with my school and for my student management. And then brilliant.org itself is where the actual like content lives. And it is those two separate logins. So once you hit that view as a student, it moved you to brilliant.org and it linked the account for you. So I think you should be good to go.
Okay.
All right,
Nate, there was one, oh, sorry to cut somebody off. There was one question in the chat. Can you assign a course to students? If you could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so basically the like shortest answer is like not directly through Brilliant. Their brilliant.org experience is going to just look how it looks for all other students. We don't have any in product, it's called, assignment features, but we have that copy link. So the idea is that like if you were like the type of teacher that I was, like I always had like, things for people to work through and I would paste links there. That'd be the way that I would do it. Or if you're a Google Classroom teacher, you can hit the share on Google Classroom button. And it basically just links them to the lesson. So the way I like to think about it is, imagine like a textbook. We have nothing that like opens the textbook to a page and like throws it in front of their face. But we're saying to you, like, we'll tell them what page to go to when they click it. So it's not like an assigning, it's not forcing them to do it, but it is moving them along to that part of the lesson. I could just show you like what happens is, let's like this is the solving equation course. Let's say you assign grouping to solve on through Google Classroom. The kids click that, they're in grouping to solve. They're like going to go through that lesson and then they'll move on to the next lesson. It's just like skipping them to that page. I'm glad to hear that the links will work fine. I wish we could do a feature where we allow it to be a little bit more streamlined, but it was the workaround we came up with. So I'm glad it works.
Nathaniel, can you show me again where you select the grade levels, or is that defaulted? How do I get to that?
Yes, so I just logged out of my admin account, so I need to log in as my teacher account now in order to show you that. So just give me 1 second. But that will be at educator.brilliant.org,
Okay.
which I need to log into.
And along those lines, if I don't assign anything, what do they see? Do they just do whatever
Yes.
they want?
Yeah, so if you don't assign anything, they're going to see the exact same thing you see when you log in as a student, right? So they're going to
Okay.
see all of these courses, they're going to see their names, and it's like this pathway. So it's like, this is the first one here. And so if you don't assign things, what generally happens is the students will find one that looks right for them. They'll click into it, they'll do a lesson. They'll either be like, that was about right, that's a good lesson for me to do, or they'll be like, that was too easy, and then they'll move on to a different course. We do find that kids are usually pretty good at self-selecting, about the right level for them. That said, like, your students better than I do. Like, some students are better at it than others. Okay, so now I'm in my educator.brilliant.org account. This right here, the lesson tab, is where you're going to want to go to find that grade level filter. You hit all grade levels, and then you can filter by grade level or by content for the higher grades. Take all these with like a slight grain of salt. One seventh grade student is different than another seventh grade student, but this is our best guess at like the appropriate leveling for like, the average student.
And then just to confirm, based on what you've just done, if we go ahead into our account and select these, are these these types of courses will be the only ones that are available to the students?
No, all this is doing is helping you find the lesson to then click the link to share it or to share it on Google Classroom. Their view is standard. Like we don't have any specific to the student view. All learners on brilliant.org see the same view. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's like a way for them, because like as a student just logging in for the first time, it just automatically pops up a lesson, and I'm just wondering, if I'm a student, how am I going to figure out what lesson I should be doing? Is this the best lesson for me?
Yeah. So, Gary, are you a teacher or are you a coach?
I'm a former teacher, now a current coach.
Do you have any tech to be able to like contact them or even email?
Say that again?
Do you have any like way to like a Google Doc or a Google Classroom or even just to email your students? Do you have that ability? Because I know some
Yeah,
coaches
yeah.
don't. So like what I would suggest, Garrett, is because you took notes on like which course in particular, is that I would just like copy this link here. And then I would create like a Google Doc called like, suggested courses or suggested, brilliant lessons you should work on, that type of idea. Paste the couple of them that you think, and then you share both of them. Like, this is how you log into Brilliant. And here's a few suggested courses for you to click on the link. Because like when they view the link, it will like jump them into the particular course that you'd like them to check out. And I know that's not ideal. Like I would love it if it was like just on brilliant.org. Unfortunately, this is how we're able to do it, at this stage.
Yeah, no, that's very helpful though. Now I know exactly what to send them based on those links and narrowing it down. So thank you very much.
Cool. I'm a help. Yeah, it's a big course catalog, and it's also for us a little bit of like we both want to suggest courses, and we love the idea of students exploring and some kid really connecting with like regressions. Like I don't want to take that away from them, but I think it's a great idea to give them a few courses to check out in the beginning.
With with the link, is it possible for them to access the lessons or they have to subscribe?
Great question. You have to have them join your classroom once. Like all students need to be in a classroom. That's how we know that they are a student account and how they get the free access. So just to really reiterate that, you're either going to do it by I'll jump in. You'll either do it by syncing with Google Classroom, and that's clicking this button here, or you use that link. So you hit link to add student, copy that link, share that with them either via email, an LMS. If you had to, I hope not, write it on the board. It would work. And then they will be in that classroom. And from then on, they never need to interact with the links you send again. They just go to brilliant.org, they log in, they'll have free access to everything. You can send them the links, right? Like you can send them the links to the lessons or the courses, but totally optional at that point. But that first step, like you have to have them join the classroom. I see a question about are students able to sign up with non-school email accounts? The answer to that is yes, we allow it. Our preference is always for them to use their school email accounts just so that way it just is a little bit more legitimate. I don't know. It confirms that they actually are students. We do audit every once in a while, and we'll have some person who pretended to be a teacher to get free accounts, and then it's a whole thing. And if we see them have the correct domains, then they won't ever get flagged. That said, like you all have MATHCOUNTS next to your name in our system, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. The plus side of using not their school email address is that they might lose access to it when they graduate, I should mention this, is that they get free access to Brilliant the entire time they're in your classroom, and then an additional year after they leave your classroom. So we really are trying to just give as much free access to Brilliant as possible. These are great questions. I really appreciate them.
What is the best for the lessons, in the platform?
Just in general, like my favorite ones?
Yeah, for prior to the competition.
Yeah, so I think it depends on your goal. If your goal is just like math teaching, then I do think the coordinate geometry and the quadratics that just came out in the coordinate plane are all excellent. I think these concepts are hard concepts for a lot of kids. And I think we do just a really amazing job creating a consistent visual model that allows them to really see how these things come together. So I do really recommend checking those out. The solving equation course is like my go-to like sixth grade math level suggested course, also really strong visual models. And then I personally love like our logic. And as you can see here, this green line of digital circuits is almost complete because I did the whole course, even though I didn't have to. I thought that was a super fun, interesting course with and or and logic gates. But I don't know if your kids will also enjoy it as much as I did. And then besides that, there's some really like, okay, this is going a little off script here, but I will say, if you go into the archive courses, there's a course that will be deleted any day now called Math History. That is my favorite course. So just going to say it. Check it out if you'd like. It's not interactive, but it's great. Cool. And yeah, and so if you're just looking for like get my students hooked on Brilliant, Logic is probably your best bet. I have many accounts, Kip. Kip is calling me out for not finishing that course. I didn't finish it on this particular account. Any other questions?
Yes, I have one tangentially related. I do a contest math for high school students also, and somewhere I saw contest math 2,
Yeah.
but then when I went to look for it, I couldn't see it again.
Yeah, so Contest Math 2 has been consumed into Contest Math 1, I believe. So I believe that if you scroll down far enough, you're actually in Contest Math 2.
Yeah, that's true, Nate.
Okay, I've confirmed it's true.
Sweet.
So it's all just one thing now.
So if my student was an 8th grader last year and had access to Brilliant, would she have access this year also?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, by
Oh.
default, we give students an additional year after you remove them from their classroom.
So I don't have to say she's a student. Okay, thank you. That's great.
Also, yes, we did that intentionally. Also, though, if you know other students that you would like to give access to this program to, and they are children, like please do so. Like just be super clear to everyone here. Our aim is to share this as widely as possible with as many under 18-year-olds that could use it. So definitely you have my permission to do so, with the exception being charging them for tutoring. That is the one thing that does upset me when people charge
Right.
kids for tutoring. Yeah, and as Hannah said, if you haven't already, just a reminder, please do so. Apply at educator.brilliant.org. And any questions, feedback, you have our email. Any other questions or comments?
Is there any limit for the number of students that need to be joining the program
No,
in either of the Google Classrooms?
nope. It should work for any limit. If you, let's say, add like 5,000 students, I'd have questions about your program. But, any reasonable number of students, totally okay. If you get into the higher numbers, sometimes we have an issue with like a timeout thing where we're getting too many logins from a single IP address. If that happens, we will notice and we will fix it ourselves. But I just want to let you know, if you're thinking I'm going to add an entire school, sometimes that can happen, but it's not a big deal. We'll fix it after.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for the questions. Does anyone not have an educator application in? Would anybody like help actually applying?
I'll do mine later.
Okay.
Yeah, I just closed from, school, so I'll do mine later.
I'm holding you to it. I'll be really sad if I don't see your application.
Definitely put it in.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, I have some fifth graders that are chomping at the bit to be in Math Counts. Did I hear you say that I can invite them to my Math Counts class?
Yes, totally. I would say the thing is, we do ask for students under 13 that you make sure you follow all your district or school's procedures. And if you need to get a parent sign form as part of that, that you keep that on file. And that usually happens right around fifth, sixth grade. But as long as you're doing that, yes, we do have students as young as second grade using Brilliant, although that is not typical. But we did have one very gifted classroom use it. So yeah, our content starts sixth grade and up for the most part. The arithmetic thinking has some fifth grade content, but yeah, but I totally great to share it with them. And if they love it, that's awesome.
Super. Thank you.
Of course.
This is really, really helpful. I've had access to this for several years and haven't moved past just knowing about it. So thank you.
Well, honestly, Gina, I'd love to maybe talk to you more about that in the future because, one of my main jobs is to figure out how to move people along. So I'd love to get your feedback of just sort of like what inspired you to take the action now and things like that. So if you, we'll get in touch via email.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Any other questions I can help anybody with?
Good.
Okay. I think I'm going to end the meeting then. Thank you everybody for coming. I really appreciate it. Oh,
sorry, I have a question.
yes.
Sorry, I was late. The student can use their school account to use it because I have a Google Classroom, but because I'm not a teacher, I'm a math count coach. So I create a Google Classroom asking them to create their personal account to join the classroom. But I realized I could send them the link so they could join. So they could use their school account to join my
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yes, you can use either. So like let's say you use their personal accounts for your Google Classrooms, what you're saying.
Yeah, they're currently using I add the Google Classroom in the Brilliant, and the students need to create their personal account to join my Google Classroom. But since that Brilliant can use their school account, so I just send them the link.
Yeah, I think the best thing for you to do would be to copy the link and put it into your Google Classroom. That said, like there's no issue if let's say they end up with two accounts, a personal and a school one, or if they join twice. Besides, that might make it messy for you to see their data. But so do whatever works for you. But there should be no issue with clicking the link and then pasting it in that Google Classroom you created. It
So
should work
even
just
though
fine.
it's not in the Google Classroom profile under
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it should still it should work either way, I think, but the link way would probably be easier for you.
Because some of the students are not able to join because they don't have a personal Google account.
Right,
So
exactly.
now that will be, yeah.
And then sometimes the parents will sign up for them instead and they'll use their
Yeah.
parents' account. It really whatever works is fine. Yeah. And like I said, worst case scenario, if we notice there's a lot of emails that aren't schools, we'll see that your math counts and you'll be totally fine. But
Okay.
yeah, so thank you for that
Yeah.
question.
Thank you.
Of course.
Bye.
Okay.
Right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Bye. Thanks.